Hello everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Author Collaborative. My guest Namita Das should be able to join us in a few moments. Do stay connected. We'll be talking about her latest book, Grey Rainbow Love, and it is in the LGBTQ genre, and I really enjoyed reading it. Hello Joshi Verma. Hello Namita. In a few seconds. Okay. Hello, finally. I was wondering if you would have to cancel.
No, I don't know what happened. Then I restarted my phone and it was okay.
Yeah, I think Sukana suggested that the app hangs. So I
Maybe,
think restarting the app worked.
maybe. चलो लेकिन ठीक है finally.
Huh. Oh, yeah. So sorry to all the audience who had to wait, and welcome Namita one more time to the Author Collaborative.
Third time with the charm.
Yes. So I had also mentioned in my caption that without you, this any season of the Author Collaborative has been incomplete. So it's a pleasure to have you again. Welcome.
Thank you so
So before we start talking about each other, I know you have introduced yourself to my audience many times. Hello, Kuku. Nice to see you.
much.
Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm fine.
Would you like to stay with your mom as she answers my questions?
No, he'll go and play. Okay, you'll go and play. Mommy will come. Okay, say bye to everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
So we had a surprise guest also today, a cute little guest. Yes,
I
I am sure all the moms who are watching will be able to relate to the problem that you're facing right now.
and I try not to schedule any calls, video calls especially, because this is bound to happen. That he is come and barge in and he'll be like the special guest over here, then all attention is on him.
But that's a nice distraction to have,
Yeah,
cute distraction.
in the morning, so we were, okay, skip your school. Let's see.
Okay, we have Sukana here again. Thank you, Sukana. Your advice helped us to begin the live for today.
Fine. Otherwise, आज तो नहीं होगा अपना. We'll have to reschedule.
Yeah, I had almost given up. I was about to say we'll do this some other time.
And what you know,
Yeah, okay. So, you have introduced yourself to my audience many times, but let's do it one more time. Tell us about yourself.
hi guys, I'm Namita Das. My problem is
See, I told you a lot of moms will be able to relate to what you're facing.
okay. So back to my introduction. I'm Namita Das. I am an ex-software analyst. I have worked as a software engineer for almost 14 years, and right now I am a stay-at-home mom. Plus, I write novels. I am also studying counseling psychology. I am also passionate about child psychology. I blog about parenting. I blog about special needs like ADHD, autism, and I also cook and sleep. And I that you met a few minutes ago, the whole
Yes.
day.
Uh, let's get down to the books that we have in focus today. Your book. Let's start with your book, Grey Rainbow Love. I was mentioning earlier that it is one of the very few books in the LGBTQ genre that I have read from Indian authors, and it was such a nice perspective to have. It was fresh reading for me. So, based on my reading and experience of it, I have a few questions for you, as always. My very first question to you is because I was reading it and it's really funny because books in this genre tend to be like, in one direction. They are always heavy and they don't have much of humor in it. Your story had a lot of humor and I was smiling or chuckling all the way through. So my first question to you is what inspired you to, have these multiple plot lines? There's not just LGBTQ, there's another unconventional romance that is also mentioned in the book. So I want to understand what inspired you and how you went about writing the story.
Mm, so when I started writing the story, that you remember that movie Dostana?
Yes.
I had watched that movie and I just wanted to recreate something in a book, a funny story, LGBT story, something. But then as I started writing, I thought I shouldn't make fun of anything. And I'm not really making fun of anything in this book. It's just the situation is like that, that it becomes
Yes.
fun. And I think it's of habit that everything becomes funny when I write. So
True.
started over there, but then it did not materialize like that. It did not. The end product was not what Dostana is. It's very different. Then there are two other things which were going on in my mind when I was writing this story. I met someone on Twitter who is a lesbian, and I read about her coming out story, and I also interacted with her in my DM chats, and I realized that how difficult it is for them to survive or sustain in this society where everything is traditional and conventional, and when you are doing something which is not acceptable, and people just like they look down on you, and they're not ready to accept. Things, and you cannot change someone's perspective, but uh, love is love.
Yeah, true.
You love someone, you have to be with them, you want to be with them. So that was one thing. And the second thing was, when my mother passed away 4 years back, I saw my father. He was lonely despite having a big family, kids and everyone. uh, no one can fill that void of your partner.
Hmm.
So I noticed
Hmm.
loneliness going on around him, and that kind of, even if he's happy, is actually not happy. He would always miss my mom. So these were two things that went in my mind, and that is where this rainbow love uh, was conceived.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful story. I really enjoyed it. Which brings me to my second question. All the books that I have read of yours, they are short fiction,
Yeah.
flash fiction.
Hmm.
And you really, I can see the growth from book to book also. I've always enjoyed them, but from each book to the next, I have seen your growth. So I want to understand, do you have a checklist or a to-do list when you write this form of fiction? And, share some tips with us.
No checklist per se. I'll be honest, writing long form is a challenge for me. Maybe because I have a very short attention span. Maybe that can be the case that reading anything that goes beyond 200, 250 pages is like, I shudder. So if someone reads that longer book, I'll be like, do I really want to get into that one where I'll have to spend 15, 20 days to finish that book because I can't be into it. That is one thing. So similarly, if reading is a problem, writing also becomes a problem for me. That writing long stories, I somehow get disconnected in between. So short form is something that it comes easily to me. I can write. What I feel is when I write short fiction, I don't put in unnecessary details. Like when you are reading a long form, it's not unnecessary, but it's good in a long form story where you are describing how the clouds are looking, what's the formation of the cloud, and wind it is it romantic, is it so, and then what kind of the dress the characters are wearing and how they look, hair, what's the hairstyle, color of the lipstick and everything. So I feel that in short fiction, these kind of details are unnecessary. You don't need them. So I just jot down the relevant points that will not create a plot hole. So
Correct.
and mostly my stories revolve around a certain topic or a certain incident. That is the main theme of that story. So I just like create a story around that, and I just find out what are the relevant details that will be required so that when they come to the main plot, the reader is not confused. Ki, why is this happening? So,
Yes, that's a very good point that you have put in mentioned. Focusing on one incident in short form fiction is very important. So you also stayed focused on that particular incident and working around it.
because in great Hey Rainbow Love, it started with a lesbian couple, and I wanted to. The theme of the story was their struggles and how they are facing challenges in the society. But then somehow I felt that this is something, it's a trope many people have used, and there are many stories like that. And I just was not very happy with that, and so I added that second point, which turned out to be funny. I'm sure whoever will it will it was even unexpected for me, like how I changed, how I brought that kind of twist. So even when I as a writer was writing, I felt that this is a very good twist, and it changed the theme. If you read you start reading, you'll feel that it's a queer story, but then when you end reading it, you'll understand that no,
Yes.
this was way beyond that. There are many people who are talking about LGBTQ communities, but there's no one talking about old age love.
Right. Which is also what I really liked. I mean, it starts out with one theme and it ends with another theme. So you have touched upon multiple, romances which are frowned upon.
But I just wanted, I mean, I wanted to highlight this point. Like, if someone wants to remarry at a different age or with, so like, not remarry, but if someone wants to be with someone despite marriage, not someone wants to be with someone, why do they have to go through so many approvals? Like, if it's not like masti masti when someone is trying to do something, I'm not,
No.
that is not something that I approve of. But if you love somebody, despite of age, caste, creed, and also gender, you can stay with them. You have to stay with them. You don't need society's
Correct.
approval.
Yes.
You have to be happy at the end of the day. You don't need a happy society around you, because you are not your society or the people around you are not going to stay with you in your home. They are not be a part of you when in your deathbed. They are not the ones who are going to take care of you. So if you found someone you love, you have to be with them.
We have talked so much about the book. So I'm going to read out a few passages from it so people get an idea of what we are talking about. And also, they might become curious to pick it up themselves. So I will read out the first few passages. Once again, the book is titled Grey Rainbow Love and it is written by Namita. This is what the book cover looks like. I'm going to read out a few passages. So it's from the first page itself. This is how it goes. There is a courier for you, Savi. Rina called out from the door, collecting an envelope while inspecting who it was from. Like a ship in full sail, she trundled with her heavily pregnant belly towards the bedroom where Savi was getting dressed for office. Who is it from? Savi asked. It's from Advocate D. Chatterjee. Tina looked at the envelope. Advocate D. Chatterjee? Savi stopped combing her hair, trying to remember who this D. Chatterjee was. I am unable to recall who that is. Maybe some lawyer we must have consulted in the past. Open up the letter. Tina tore the envelope from a corner and blew into it, using her index finger to rip open the cover. A three-folded paper, looking yellowed and crackly, fell out on the floor. Tina tried to bend down and pick it up, but her belly disallowed this feat. Don't worry, I'll get it. Savi motioned Rina to sit down on the bed as she picked up the letter, unfolded it carefully, and started to read it out aloud. My dear Savitri. Rina coughed as if something had tickled her throat. What? Savi asked. Nothing. I sometimes forget that your actual name is Savitri and people do address you by that name. Rina pursed her lips. Whatever. Savi shrugged and continued reading the letter. I'm not going to read out the letter because that will give away too much.
Okay.
So that's how the story begins. And from the first page itself, I was smiling because we have seen these things. Though I have never been a mother, but I know the struggles that a pregnant woman goes through. She's unable to bend down and all of that.
So
So
that where it says she in full sail she trundled. So first I had written like a penguin she waddled into the room.
actually, the way you have described it, I was also thinking like ये penguin की तरह ही चल रही होगी because I've seen pregnant women walking like that.
But then my editor told me that, see, it might be offending for a few women. Slow down a bit. changed it.
That is true. You don't want to piss off anyone. That is also true.
In the first page itself.
Yeah. True. So I hope you enjoyed my reading. And those of you who want to know what happens next, go pick up the book from Amazon. It's available on Amazon Kindle and it's free to read with the Kindle Unlimited subscription. That's the best part.
Hopefully, it will be time soon.
It
Never goes.
will. So that brings me to the end of my questions, long form questions that I had for you. You have also read my book, Love and Melodrama. And before you ask me the questions, would you like to read out your favorite bit from the book?
Uh, I'm reading my second favorite part. The first favorite part was where they have this meet cute where Varun meets Gayatri, and you have used a lot of DDLJ, Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge anecdotes in that, and so many dialogues. So, like, reliving, my days when we were also fascinated with someone in Switzerland and we'll meet and there will be a cute boy. So I was like, it was a lot filled with nostalgia. So it was really, really nice to read that book. So I'll read my second favorite one. That's Finding Footing. So here is where Gayatri has got a gift, new new sandals from Varun, and there's a lot of bantering going on within the friends. So I'll start reading. Nice sandals, Gayu. Did you match them with your clothes or is it the other way around? Would you like thrown at you or would you rather I smack you with them? Aisha laughed uproariously as she witnessed Abhi and Gayatri's banter over the latter's new pair of sandals. Gayatri threw her warning look, leading to a staring down between the two girls. Whatever silent war is going on here, can we continue it after we place our orders? Sharad's voice cut in, breaking the awkwardness that engulfed the group. The four were seated in the college canteen in between their lectures. The girls had joined the boys a few minutes ago after completion of their lectures for the day. Whereas the boys still had one more lecture to go. As soon as Gayatri came in his vision range, Abhi had taken one look at her sandals and given a sly smile. When Gayatri shrugged and took her seat opposite the boys, Abhi fired her with the question he had obviously been dying to ask. She was smart enough to catch the implication, and an instantaneous retort was shot at his smug face. Sharad's intervention helped break the tension, and for a few minutes, peace traveled as the food order was placed.
Thank you.
After this, so definitely read this book. If you like, you'll miss your college days, your friends, and if you are from the DDLG era, you are definitely going to be in nostalgia for a few days.
Yes. In fact, I recently visited Switzerland and I was constantly thinking about the scenes that I have written myself.
Recreate scenes in your own life. Like if you are fascinated by a movie or a book or something and you are able to recreate those scenes, it's just, what can I say?
Yeah. Especially for millennials and the 90s kids. DDLJ is like, I don't think there's anyone who has not been affected by that movie.
Yeah. Nowadays, kids won't understand. They're like just like on OTT watching web series, and they're so serious, and Money Heist, Breaking Bad, and whatnot. You can't do these things. They're never going to happen.
Yeah, and the scene that you read out right now, in fact, that's a lot of it is inspired from my own banters with my college friends. We used to sit in the canteen and talk like this only with each other. So when she says, would you rather that I hit you with it or smack throw it at you?
And this is, everyone can relate. Every person who has been to college and bunked lectures, stayed in canteen and has spent hours with friends, you are definitely going to relate with this. And you'll like miss your friends and you'll be like, let me call and talk to them.
Yes. Thank you for reading that out. And now the stage is yours if you have any questions for me.
Yes, of course. So in this book, what is the theme or what is the message you wanted to convey to the world using your book? This one.
I'm going to try and answer this without giving out any spoilers. But I do want to say that just like the previous book in the series, which was Love Triangle, this book also has an unconventional ending. It's not a typical happily ever after,
Yeah.
and that has always been my motive with both the books and whatever books that I continue with in the series. That was always the goal. Having said that, of course, I also want to focus on the romance, and especially with this book, I focused more on the romance than my previous one. Love Triangle had only a little bit of romance because Aisha was, not in a relationship till a very long time with either of the boys. She was just trying to explore. And another theme that I wanted to explore was, as the series is titled, Love Trials. I wanted to show that people in their teens and early 20s, they can be really confused about choosing a partner and how they go about, navigating through the relationships and their feelings. So that was the main theme.
Okay. Because my heart broke reading your book. I wasn't expecting. So, people who are viewing this, you have to have an appetite for that, what you are going to see, but you are not going to be disappointed. Uh, but you have to read the book once, at least
Yes.
once.
Yeah, we are talking about the book so much. Let's show them the cover also. We forgot to do that.
Yeah,
It
because I black and white thing, so I'm not sure it will.
No worries.
Oh my.
This is the book that we are talking about, Love and Melodrama. It's a rom-com novel, and that's what Namita is talking
Black
about.
and
Yes, and Namita was also kind enough to read out a few passages from the book.
white. Oh, I black and white में ऐसा दिखता है, देखो.
No, that's okay. The story is colorful, so that's all that matters.
So no, but you have to like look at the cover also. Then when you look at the cover and when you read, then you will be able to understand that what that cover means, because there's a big chapter. Yeah, there's a big chapter in this Candy's restaurant, and then when you read it, you'll understand that what is going on.
Hello, Cuckoo. Again. He can join us if he wants to.
It's just like why mommy is not giving me attention.
Oh.
You are right now. Okay, so coming back to my questions, I have one more question for you. If you have to swap your life with any one of the characters from the book, who will it be and why?
It would definitely be Aisha. I have always been a fan of Aisha. I mean, I love Gayatri also. In fact, I have put in a lot more effort in, her character development and understanding her psyche. But Aisha is somebody who was my first female protagonist, like in long form fiction. And the kind of love that Aisha received, that was overwhelming for me. And also, out of all my male characters that I've written in long form fiction and even short form fiction, Viren is like top of the list for me. So if I step into Aisha's shoes, I'll be able to, get closer to Viren also somewhat. I can befriend him, flirt with him because I like him so much. So yeah, Aisha.
I Okay. Okay, that's it was really nice to know, because I was just wondering who will it be, because I don't think you want to be in Varun or Gayatri's shoes. Nobody. I didn't want to be. So I was just thinking, if I throw this question at you, who will you want to be? And you did that smart answer. Okay.
It was fun to answer because I was also wondering if I can be a character in this series, who would it be? So I think I fit into Aisha's personality more than I fit into anyone else's. Gayatri, to, matlab, she's a dancer and I have two left feet. I can't dance as well as she does.
Okay.
आयशा के साथ सिमिलैरिटी ज्यादा है मेरी तो
Uh,
आई थिंक दैट वुड बी समबडी
what happens mostly, authors when they release their book, they will never say that they don't relate to one of the main characters. They'll be like, yeah, I'm so it's so relevant, and I know this character and I'm like related to it, and but that was very honest of you to say that no, you relate to one of the side characters in this book.
Yeah. Okay, that brings us to the end of the long form questions. What we'll do now, Namita, with my favorite section, which is the rapid fire, we'll do one question. Aage piche. Hi, hello, Cuckoo. Welcome again.
Okay.
I will begin. So, my first rapid fire question to you is live-in or marriage? Which one do you prefer and why?
Mm, marriage definitely gives you a lot of what do you say? There's advantages because if you are traveling somewhere, or if you want to go out, or if you want to relocate, you having a marriage certificate really helps. But but if you like taking time, not like you have to live with anyone you are into an you get into a relationship with, but if you're sure that you love someone, live in also is okay. There's no problem like go and start staying with someone because you're just
Hi, Cuckoo. Would you like to answer that? Oh, he's understanding. I think he's understanding what you are answering.
but he'll understand. He'll be like, "Mummy, I'm going living." My mummy is okay. So I just feel that if you're if you are really into love with someone, then you live in is not. There shouldn't be anything stopping you for living with that person because see, paper marriage ultimately is just a piece of paper.
Piece of paper.
Yeah, and it's like a declaration for everyone, an official thing that yeah, we are living together. But if you are in love with someone, you live in, stay after marriage. Doesn't matter, really.
True, true. That brings you to your question.
So
Personal
my
question.
is what is your favorite word? One of the favorite words that you have learned recently.
So, there's this particular word that I read in a novel that I read recently. I'm not sure how it is pronounced, but as far as I'm concerned, it's Arabesque, and it
What
Arab. Wait, we'll do the pronunciation, wala. Arabesque. Arabesque.
arabesque?
Arabesque. Yeah. So it's a pattern. And I read the word in one of the books called The Fish Quotient by Helen Huang, and I have been fascinated by that word because I have never heard about it or never read it in any book before. So basically, what? Let me read out the definition for everyone. It's a posture in ballet in which the one leg is extended backwards at right angle, the torso is bent forwards, and the arms are outstretched, one forwards and one backwards. I was really fascinated by it because I was also writing Gayatri's character at that point, and I thought I could use it somewhere where I'm describing her dance movements, but I have not used it. But I was really fascinated कि यार मुझे तो डांस आता नहीं है तो
Kind
ये
of an
this is something new.
task, where the limbs are going somewhere. What
Arabesque.
from what you said, it's just like that. The hands is going somewhere, leg is going somewhere.
I will spell out the word also. It's
Maybe
Arabesque.
put it in
Arabesque.
comments for the viewers. I'm sure
Yes.
they're thinking what word it is.
Yeah, I'll put it out. Okay, that brings me to my next question for you, which is since your book talks about two types of unconventional romances, I want to understand in your real life, have you met someone or heard a story which is an unconventional love story?
Mm, not really, but what fascinates me is arranged marriages. Like whenever I see, even in today's generation, when I see someone getting into an arranged marriage, it fascinates me that you are planning to live with someone whom you haven't met as much. There's someone else deciding that you have to love this person, and then people really fall into love. Like it's not someone else decided, but you have to fall in love with person and in this with this person, and they are really falling into love with them, and they are living happily, and it's not like they are into some adjustment mode or something. They're really in love. So these kind of love stories I find very unconventional. That you're one of the so
Hello.
I really am amazed when you are not choosing your partner, someone else chose for you, but then how you are destined to live together and live a happy life. Not like, I'm not saying that they're just adjusting because they're married, but they're living a happy life, and they are living at their own terms. If I say, there's one of my cousins who is like that, who got married, who was into an arranged marriage situation, and then something happened where they said that the marriage needs to be broken off, but then he said, no, now I am in love with this girl and I want to get married to her only. So that's unconventional, right? You did not know her a few months ago, but now knowing her, speaking to her, you are, yes, you want her. Yeah, you want that girl with you. So that's unconventional.
Yeah, true. Okay, thank you for sharing that with us. Your turn.
Okay, what's my next question? I have noted down memory problems. What is one of the most embarrassing things that you have written?
One of the most, sorry.
Embarrassing things, like you were embarrassed.
Oh my God. Just a few days back, I was talking about this to a few of my friends, and you know, this is the first time that I have written an intimate scene in very much detail in this room
Uh-huh.
novel. I have never done that before. So that no, writing that was not embarrassing, but thinking about if somebody who knows me well reads it, what will they think about me? That was embarrassing for me.
I know. I haven't written a single scene yet like that, because just because of that thought that people who know me, if they read, what will they think? And
So
overcome that thing. But it's really nice to have, it's not something that doesn't happen. It happens, right? So what is the problem in writing about it?
yeah,
Yeah. So this needs some.
and
I really applaud you.
because
Overcome that thought, and you wrote about it.
yeah, actually, I was also motivated to do it because one of the negative points, very few negative points that came out in my previous book, Love Triangle, was that there was no hardly any romance. Like there's no intimacy between the three characters. There are only about 2 to 3 scenes where they are only touching hands or kissing on the cheek, and that's it. Nothing much happened there, and people were really disappointed by that. And
Huh.
if you are writing a romance, that's like a must have. थोड़ा तो कुछ चाहिए spice. Not too much like we are not doing 50 Shades of Grey, but कुछ तो चाहिए.
It's a part of romance or rom-com, because whenever I discuss a rom-com with anyone, and I had this discussion with my editor once, and I said that I won't add that scene. Will it sell? She's like, see, it's a part of it. You don't have to write an erotica. It's a rom-com, but rom-com mein to hoga hi na. You have to put it in, and I was like, yaar, how? Can
Yeah, so it is embarrassing. I can relate to that. It was not embarrassing to write, but embarrassing to think about what will people think.
so when you spoke to some relative, or that some friend or some cousin or some relative had picked up this book, like your heartbeat goes up. अब ये पढ़
Yeah,
लेंगे, पढ़ लेंगे.
yeah. They will also think, probably inspired by real life or what. That thought also comes to mind. Yeah, moving on before we reveal too much.
Okay.
My next question for you is in LGBTQ, because your book falls in that genre. I want to know from you an LGBTQ book or tell the editors
Sorry.
not to do Zabardasti with the characters. Yes, that is Prabhanjan. Thank you for joining. He's also a regular on my author collaborative, and he is a really good supporter. He's saying tell the editors not to do Zabardasti with characters.
I
Yeah.
want to do it. हमको नहीं
Yeah, see, I also had to do it because it was the reader's demand, and also the story also,
लगता.
like it wouldn't have moved ahead without that part.
Yeah. Sometimes it's required, but we as authors need that, courage to write. Like if I speak also about LGBTQ stories, like not everyone is very, even if they are supportive of it, they are not open to talk about it, forget writing. So it's again like, having that kind of courage to put your words out to the world. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry what?
Yeah, so since your book falls in that genre, I want to know from you a movie or book that you recommend in the LGBTQ genre.
Grey Rainbow Love.
उसके अलावा नमिता
Oh, sorry, I was just kidding. I recently read a book, not recently, it's been a few months. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of universe. It's a tongue twister, the title. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of universe is written by Benjamin Allir Sands. Is
Okay.
the name. He's a Mexican writer, so even then it's kind of a tongue twister for me. But it's not a what do you say, conventional coming out story, but it's a story of teenagers who realize that they are not straight, and how they fall in love with the same gender, and how it is okay to accept what they feel. And it is difficult even for your parents to accept this thing, and even then that is difficult for you to go and tell them. You can share any kind of secret, tell them anything, but when it comes to this, it becomes very tough for you to go and talk about it. So it's a very you would say a smooth writing, and it's really nice. We should read it, and it's not only just us. Teenagers should read it so that they understand what is going on. So if any,
I think we were blowing raspberries.
he's very angry.
Yeah, your question.
What? We'll ask a question to Manali. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let me ask. So, what is your hated genre? Okay. So, if there's one genre that you hate very much, and but you still are forced to write in it, so what would you write, and what would you title it?
I I don't hate it, but I because I scare very easily, I keep away from horror. क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि मुझे रात को नींद नहीं आएगी. I'll keep thinking about it. And what was the second part of your question?
That what will you title it? Like if you write, okay.
Uh, I don't know. Somehow only weird horror Hindi movie horror titles are coming to my mind.
What was the first mind?
I know it's not a horror movie, but I don't know why Khoon Bhari Maang came to my mind.
That's a crocodile. Crocodile is the.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a horror genre, but somehow I don't know. Khoon Bhari Maang came to my mind.
Yeah, it's not. What is it? It's again something like women empowerment thing, na?
Yeah. Yeah. Rekha and Kabir Bedi, I think Kabir Bedi marries Rekha, and then
Yeah,
वो crocodile के लेक में उसको फेंक देता है. Something
and then
like
in
that.
the also
And then she comes back with
is him.
plastic surgery.
के लाल वो है तरी. What? जीने
जीने
के
के
लाल.
लाखों है तरीके. Acceptance is very laughable. Are they keeping CCTV in straight couples?
No comment.
जीने के लाखों है तरीके.
No comment. We are. हम वहाँ.
Yes. It means you are very old.
Yes.
Oh, we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, in our 30s, I mean.
Accept कर लिए चलो. So, यार.
Okay. My next question to you is one thing or incident that changed your perspective of romance.
Thing, not thing or incident, but I'll say my husband. He changed my perspective towards romance, because before meeting him, thanks to all these Bollywood stories, I always felt that romance is like more of flowers, chocolates, cakes, and dates and long drives and everything. But when I met him, I understood that it's romance is not that. It's about looking out for each other. You may not be expressive about your love. You may not be saying "I love you" every day, and you're not going to say that how beautiful you are, how nice you're looking, or everything. But it's like those small things, like If you're not feeling well, then bringing hot bag uh, for massage, that hot bag thing, and making tea,
Yeah.
or like if I'm not in the mood, he'll just say, "Don't cook. You don't
Hmm.
cook. I'll also not cook." And more than that, the one thing that I like about him is that on the weekends he'll be like, "तुम भी कुछ मत करो, मैं भी कुछ नहीं करता. Let's rest." So
Yeah. That's really sweet. Yeah. Oh,
अगर
nice.
कुछ मत करो, मैं भी कुछ नहीं करूँगी. Let's rest, and it's like nobody has to take a pressure. Like pressure लेने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. Like just chill, rest karo. Let's go on a long drive. Long drive is something that we love. So we go on long drives, and so yeah, this is something that I understood that he never gives me any gifts because yeah, and lately I also understood that what his point of view was, and I really accept that thing, that gifts make it very difficult because most of the time I don't like what
Hmm.
I have gotten in the gift, and I'm like, इसको change कर देते हैं, या पैसे पैसे मेरे बर्बाद हो गए, या if I, and then like,
True.
"Acha, I will join you and we'll buy something that you like. I'm not saying that you go and buy anything for yourself. We will go together and you take what you like, because at the end of the day, what you take for yourself is going to make you happy and you'll be happy to have that thing. So rather than तुम्हारे लिए सरप्राइज लेके आओ and you act surprised, and the surprise देख के तुम्हारा मुंह बन जाता है. So it's not taking it anywhere.
Yeah.
15 years of being with him, I know that yeah, he's right. And now I really don't want any gift. So agar gift laya, so it will be a big problem. So I like I'll take what I want. I don't want any gift. So these are like a few things that has changed my perspective towards romance. So for romance is not Valentine's Day for me. Romance is not celebrating birthdays. Romance is not anniversary. Romance is just being there for each other when we need. Small things, small expressions.
Oh, nice. Thank you for sharing that with us. I hope whoever is listening also gets a deeper perspective of what actual romance is. We have a comment from Prabhanjan who's saying romance is love in the time of cholera. Very true. Yeah, in sickness and in health.
Romance, the love and time of. I didn't get it.
So,
I'm
love in
old.
the time of cholera is by. Have you? No, I don't think you have read it. So, it's a good book. You should read it.
One.
Magical realism. Love in the time of cholera. Gabriel
Okay.
Marquez.
Check it out.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. Okay.
So he is telling us that that's actual romance.
अरे
It
नहीं रे
also
बाबा.
it also talks about what you have said, but in Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
Was she
Yeah,
the
that's what I
author
was telling.
or he?
Yeah, this is the author.
Okay. 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 I'll check it out. Sure. So the next question is, what is one of the weirdest places from where you have got your inspiration to write? Like any story or anything.
I
That
think yeah, weirdest and the most embarrassing is in the toilet. Yeah, and I'm admitting it in public. But I'm sure a lot of authors do get a
yeah.
weird ideas when they are, doing their business in the toilet.
Yeah. Yeah, that is that time, self-reflection time. That is the only time. If you are not using your phone, like some
Yeah,
people, if you're not
yeah,
using your phone during that 5, 10, 20 jitna minutes, so that is the perfect time for self-reflection.
yes. And also in shower. Yeah. Also while showering, also I've gotten a few poetry ideas. See, that is also a time of self-reflection
Yeah.
for
But
me.
but you know what is hard? Like you get something, something strikes your mind and you don't have a notepad or something to, jot it down.
Write it
And
down. So
by the time
what
you get there,
my trick for that is keep turn it into a song and keep humming it so that you remember when you come out.
that's a good trick.
Turn it into a song, keep repeating it to yourself So when you are out of the toilet or out of the shower, you wherever you keep your phone or your notepad, you can immediately jot it down.
That's a good trick. I'll try that one next time. Because mostly what happens is, for me, what is the biggest problem? I get most of my thoughts when I am just about to go to sleep. I'm just
Uh,
we can write this. And I'm like, where's my phone? Where's my notepad? And then I switch on the lights, and my son is like, why are you doing this? And I rush into the bathroom and I just start scribbling on my notepad, and then like, okay, लिख लिया. Imagine if I'm not able to note it down, it's gone. By morning I'm repenting कि यार मुझे याद ही नहीं आ रहा है.
This is also something I have experienced. मुझे भी पहले लगता था कि यार मैं तो बहुत महान हूँ, मेरा तो मेमोरी बहुत अच्छा है, याद रहेगा मुझे. Out of experience only I have learned to jot down every idea that comes across my mind.
So I just have my diary over here. So here, like one night, I got some idea of some story, and pata nahi what was it. So I just wrote here, the drunk booth died while drinking. Okay, and it was a very funny story, and it was something like it was very nice. And now I can't remember what it was. And see, look at my mera dimag. I have what have I written? Like these two. What am I?
इसका क्या करूँ मैं? ऐसा हो गया.
I can't even make out what I have written in my note. Imagine this is me.
Yeah. So yeah, all writers and authors and creative people have their bouts of ideas, weird places where they get their bouts of creative ideas.
And imagine this one thing, like if each author and each writer does not forget to does not forget those ideas, and they are able to jot down everything. Imagine the plethora of writings and stories.
Yeah. Already we have a lot of content. Imagine if everyone was able to work on whatever ideas they have
without forgetting a single one. Imagine there will be a flood of stories.
क्या हो जाएगा सच में. My next question to you is a movie or book that you wish you were a part of, and why?
One of my favorite movies is Andaz Apna Apna. Okay. So if I have to be a part of that movie, I can very well take up the role of Robert. I don't mind. I like that story very much. It's funny without going below the belt, and it just makes you laugh every time. No, in fact, I can be a part of Satya Pe Satta also.
That is also a good movie.
I can be Hema Malini. It's so funny and it's so nice. And see, now I'm getting other names also. No, I think
okay. I think both of us are filmy buffs.
I can be a part of it.
Which brings us to your last question.
Okay, last question. Okay. If you have to go out to dinner with one author, dead or alive, who would it be and what will you order?
I think I have maintained this one author in similar questions across whenever I have been asked, and that's Ruskin Bond. I want to meet him. He's like that person who's aging like fine wine, and I am sure I'm going to have a gala time. Also, he's a very approachable person. I know. I've read so many interviews and seen him on multiple occasions at various events. So I know he's approachable. So unke saath dinner will be. Can you imagine the kind of experiences that he will share? मुझे पता ही नहीं चलेगा 2-3 घंटे कहाँ चले जाएंगे.
I'm getting goosebumps as you're saying, just imagining that thing.
Yeah. And of course, because of his experience of living in the mountains, I'm sure he knows कि वहाँ पे क्या अच्छा मिलेगा, पहाड़ों की recipes. So that I will leave up to him. You order. I will enjoy.
Fine, na? You are going to do research. पहाड़ों में क्या मिलता है, and then you will go and say कि हम ये खाते हैं.
नहीं. I will leave it up to him because he will have a better idea, no? I will be like, you know what is good here and what I should try. आप ही बताओ, sir.
And Ruskin Bond mostly writes real life stories like what he has observed around him and whatever happens. So
Yeah.
maybe will be featured in his next book after
Yes.
your day.
Wow. Imagine that being a character in Ruskin Bond's book.
Yeah. So whenever I read his stories, I'm like, yeah, this is something like if you are around and if you do something, maybe you will end up in one of his stories and it will be so nice.
Yeah, you'll become immortal. Can you imagine?
Of course. No, I'm really fascinated about that. All his stories, whatever I have read till now, they don't sound like they are made up or they are fictional. They are,
Yeah.
and
They are very slice of life.
yeah, and he has those skills to convert a real story into a fictional story and present it to the readers where they
Yeah.
are left wanting for more. So that's really something to learn.
Yeah. That would be wow, a dinner to remember.
Yeah, of course. Then you can write another book, A Dinner to
Yes,
Remember.
I can also write a book based on my experience of talking to him. Wow. Bestseller for sure.
Of course. I want a sign.
Paka. Let's
Okay.
hope that becomes true. That at least one of us gets to, sit and talk with him for at least a few hours.
I'm okay,
Yeah.
not few hours dinner or something, even if I can shake hands with him. With him and Sudha Murthy. These are like two people, since because I'm more into children's stories and I write more for children's. So these two people are the ones in my author list that at least I can go to them, shake hands with them, and just say like, just pay my gratitude.
Yeah. As always, this has been a wonderful experience. Thank you for being my guest. One more time, Namita. And I'm sure we are going to continue this tradition for as long as.
You write writing in many more.
This is like a rite of passage for me now. Whenever I write a new book, I have to call Namita on my show. वरना मेरी book incomplete लगता है मुझे कि
Oh,
promotion मैंने ठीक से नहीं किया.
yeah, that means really like there are very few people who have these things in mind. When I'm writing acknowledgements, also like I fear that I'm going to forget someone, and then I think about it this way, like then I think like if I cannot remember that person, then maybe that person has not made that kind of impact on me or in my life. So I shouldn't be feeling guilty for not mentioning that. So if I look from your perspective, I made an impact in your life, and I'm so glad.
Thank you. And your support always means a lot. We have been chatting on and off for a while, and this
Yeah.
is just another way of communicating for us.
Yeah.
Uh, as always, the video will be up on my Instagram page, and I will also be sharing it on my YouTube channel. So
Just
whoever was not able,
they
we
just
have
yes.
Richa Mukherjee. Hello, Richa. Thank you for joining. Hello, Richa. And thank you everyone for joining us. The complete video will be available on my Instagram channel. And we have our surprise guest here again, who's here to say bye. I'm going to leave mommy now, so she'll be all yours.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Namita.
Bye.
As always, pleasure to have you. Have a great weekend. Bye.